Good afternoon and welcome to All About Animals. I'm Sherry Graditor and my guest today is Jenny Wendel, who is the owner and trainer of Praise Dog Training, which is a local basic training facility, and Jenny does neat things with dogs, and we're here to talk about the necessity of training dogs. Too many of the dogs we see coming into shelters come into shelters because people say that the dog is wild, or it pulls, or it runs. Jenny, if I were to come to you and say I can't keep my whatever dog because I can't walk him on a leash, he pulls me and my shoulder's sore, or he bolts out the door every time I open the door, what would you say to them?
Well, they have to give the dog a chance for training. Usually people that have problems like that with the dogs, they haven't done a bit of training. They just get a puppy or a young dog and they think that everything after a few months is just going to be settled, the dog will be fine, and it'll learn how to do things on their own. And that's just not true. Many of the problems that we experience with these animals are not the dog's fault. It's the people not guiding them, teaching them the right way to act and how they should act and how people want them to act. So before you give a dog up, try a training class. Okay, a lot of times the classes are tough because the dogs are wild, but a one-on-one session can work wonders. Many times just in one session we can correct bad behavior. We can correct them jumping on people, walking nicely on a leash. Sometimes just to teach them to walk nicely on a leash is a 10 or 15 minute train. That's it. Mm-hmm. We can teach them. But the people have to follow through with it. What I do, I teach the dog first and then I teach the people. I don't leave the lesson until those people know what they're doing and they feel comfortable with it. They have to learn how to do it. So the poor animals get given up and it's not their fault. You know, they just don't have the parameters set for them of how they should act. They really need that set for them. Somebody has to take control. The owner has to teach them. You teach your kids how to act in public. You got to teach your dog how to act in public and at the house. They need manners. They do need manners, and they need that direction for them.
And you find that, truthfully, or I find certainly, that dogs want parameters.
Oh, they need it. They not only want it, they need it. They love it, because every time they do something good, they get a belly scratch or an ear rub or a treat, and that's better than getting yelled at all the time.
Yeah,
so we got to
absolutely.
give them those parameters. And they love it. They love it. They love the training.
Yeah.
It's a one-on-one time with them, and they just want your attention. And it's better to give them the good attention than keep on yelling at them and give them the bad attention.
And especially once they don't understand why they're being yelled at. I mean, that's the bottom line.
They don't. They're being a dog.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing what they know best in a big pack environment. They don't know that it's not right sometimes to pull at a kid's clothes, or to tackle somebody, or to jump on someone when they're happy to see them.
Paw them when they're excited.
Right, they don't know that. You've got to teach them how to act. We have to teach them how to act. You can take an 11-week-old puppy and teach them, and you can take a 9 or 10-year-old dog and teach them. They learn. Dogs are they look up to their owners. They just want to please them. That's all they want to do. So if you give them the right road to go and you show them of how to act and that you're happy with it, when you're happy, they're happy.
Absolutely.
When they do something right, you're all over them. Good dog, good dog, good dog. When they do something not right, or you're teaching them, you don't give them that much. So they kind of learn the difference as to, if I sit on that first time, I get my ear scratched and rubbed. If I don't sit, and you have to tell me 10 times, I don't get that much affection. Mm-hmm. And they learn very quickly, because how quickly can the dog learn where the treat jar is, or where the food is, or what does go for a walk mean? They can learn that in an hour.
Watch your mouth. Don't say that in front of my dog.
Oh, sorry. They
because
learn that.
She knows.
Yeah, they learn that so quickly. So why can't they learn sit, down, stay? If they can learn those other things, the good things, the other stuff can be good too.
One of the best ones that I've learned, having though you wouldn't believe it looking at her right now, fairly hyper dog, is the problem that we have with dogs bolting outdoors. And especially when you're going for a walk. I hope you heard that word, but I can't say it out loud because the dog's out here. You get the leash out, the dog is all excited. How do you handle that?
It's very simple. It's still, you go back to your basics. Sit and stay. You teach your dog to sit and stay before each door. So you teach him sit, you teach him stay. You open the door and you make them stay there until you tell them it's okay to go out. And what we have a tendency to do is open our back doors, let them fly outside into the yard. Mm-hmm. Well, when you open the front door, they don't know any different. To them, a door is a door. So if you teach them to sit and stay before they go out in the yard, sit and stay before they go out the front door, when that door opens to let other people in, they know not to run out. They know they have to stay there until they give them the okay to go. Very simple.
What would you say are the most important manners a dog needs to know in a house, whether there are kids in the house or not?
It's still, everything comes down to basics. Sit and stay, down and stay during dinner so you're not bothering anybody. Not jumping on people. You come in, all 4 paws have to be on the ground when somebody comes to greet you.
Oh, that's a biggie. That's a biggie.
That's right, because even the little dogs, they think it's so cute. Everyone's bending down. Oh, it's so cute like that. Well, still they get muddy. Their nails are sharp in the summer. They can scratch your legs. No, all dogs should only be petted when all 4 feet are on the ground. Sitting, standing, that's okay either way, just as long as they're not up in the air. And greeting people, not taking things off counters, not getting to the garbage, just all basic house manners. How do you want a good companion? How do you want a nice house guest staying with you?
Isn't that what you're looking for, though? You're looking for a companion. But it's so important. It is so important that dogs know. I mean, we have a hierarchy in the house.
Yes.
Mom and Dad are boss. Sherry's not the boss. She thinks she is, but she's not. And it's so important, almost, I think, as basic as anything else. You can't teach a dog unless the dog accepts you.
And respects you.
And respects you.
And you don't get respect by having them fear you either. It has to be a mutual respect going on.
Oh, absolutely. Too often I see families with children who get a puppy, okay? And the kids are on the floor wrestling with the puppy and punching the puppy and holding the puppy upside down and rolling the puppy and getting the puppy wilder and wilder and wilder until you know what happens. Somebody gets scratched, somebody gets bitten. And even if they don't, the puppy starts getting bigger. And what that puppy was doing at 8 weeks old isn't cute anymore.
Right.
And they don't want it rah, 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 and jumping all over them the way they taught it to be.
Right.
Is that reversible in that family where that dynamic has been taught?
That's a hard call. It depends on the ages of the kids and the personalities of the kids as well as the personality of the dog. Nothing, I shouldn't say nothing, but most things are reversible. Most things are reversible with time, patience, and consistency and repetition and getting the kids involved with it. Okay, even young kids, 2 and 3 years old, have to understand that you can't pull the dog's ears off and expect them not to react to that.
Absolutely.
You have to get the kids involved, and the parents have to be supervising the kids as well. You can't just let them run rapid either. And puppy and kids are hard. It really is hard.
Yeah.
And it has to be a whole family effort, and it has to be the right match. If you got a real rambunctious household of kids, you got to think of what kind of personality of the dog you want too. Or if it's a laid-back house, what kind of dog you want. You don't want to put a Jack Russell Terrier, who's a
terrorist,
terror, in with somebody who just sits on the couch all day long. Really, it's very important to get the right match with the right breeds. And I think that's what a lot of people do wrong. They don't research what they're looking into. They go into a pet store and they say, "Oh, isn't that cute?" And there you got a $900 dog that we don't know anything about.
I've just come from Save a Pet, and I've seen 10 wonderful dogs, basically. I don't think one of those dogs had leash manners. But I got to say that every single one of them was trainable. And I get very tired of hearing, and I'm sure you hear it too, the dogs that get to the shelter have problems. We don't want them. People got rid of them because they're not right, or they're not good, or they're not trained. Jenny, tell people.
The very, very sad part of that, giving up like that, is that it doesn't take that much to get the dogs to where they're just a family dog. Okay, if you want a show dog, well, that's different. That takes a lot more hard work. But just to get a nice family pet that greets people, that the kids can walk on a leash, it's not that much work. It really isn't. You just got to put the consistency, the time in it. And I always tell people, put the time in it now. Give it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Put the good hard work into this dog, and you're going to have a wonderful dog for 15 years. Just take the time and effort when you get a dog and know that you're going to have to put time in there and just do it. Really do.